So it's almost been a year since I graduated from college with a degree in automobile engineering. If you think about it, it's been more than 5 years since I stepped into campus for the first time. Wow, I can't even remember that guy. But like most people working professionally, there's this one question that keeps on coming up in my mind. What was the benefit of me spending 4 years in college? If I can completely be objective, have I taken any decision that I regret or I wish I hadn't? Or would I choose to do something different if I could turn back the clock and go back to that 18-year-old teenager who is about to make a decision that would change his life, or one that he could never go back from? Hey there friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, a big welcome to the Filter Coffee Finance family. In today's video, I'm going to try and answer a very simple yet a very nuanced question. Is college, in the way that it's being sold to you and me today, worth it anymore? I'm not the sole authority on whether or not you should be heading to college, but I do feel that as someone who's done a degree that he will not be making a career in, there are a few things that I can share with you. By the way, if you like the way this video is presented and you'd like to see more of this face in the future, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Filter Coffee Finance for more interesting videos. So the way I'd look at it, there are 4 things to consider about every single college decision. I've spoken with maybe a dozen different people for their take on college, and these are the 4 points that I've noticed. Number 1, your main degree is worthless, usually. I think enough time has passed by for me to openly admit that I did a bachelor's degree that did not suit me. The question is, do I regret it? I'm not too sure I do. Let me put it this way. I picked the college I wanted to study in before I picked my course. Why did I do that? It was back in 2017, I think 1 year before I did my bachelor's, that I traveled to Manipal on work for the first time. And at that point, when I'd seen the campus and I saw the college life, there was something about me that just said, you know what, I'd love to study over here. So I made my mind up. MIT was the college I was going to be going to. I didn't pick my branch, I picked my college. Now, was this a good decision or not? You tell me. How many of you out there working professionally are even doing work based on the concepts that you've learned during your college classes? If there's even a 10% overlap between what you learned in college and what you're doing now, that's amazing. I'm willing to bet that you're probably a doctor, a lawyer, or a computer science engineer. In my case, I did automobile engineering, and we were taught about good old-fashioned internal combustion engines. When placements came around, most people in my batch got placed into consulting, SDE, and even data science roles. Probably very few, I'd say maybe 10 out of a class of 60, who are actually working in the automobile industry right now. Fortunately or unfortunately, that's the truth about college and the real world. It doesn't really matter if you love cars. To most people, after spending 20 lakhs on their undergraduate degree, it's the job that matters. Most people took what they got, and 1 year later, they're happy getting paid. Unless you're a doctor, a lawyer, or a computer science engineer, you probably won't be doing anything related to your degree 5 to 10 years from now. So what does that mean for you? That means that your degree is just a piece of paper that shows an employer that you were able to stay somewhat academically oriented for 3 to 4 years, show up for exams, write some tests, and complete assignments on time. In today's world, a degree is a basic fitness test. Point number 2, college is great exposure for developing your social skills. One of the biggest reasons to go to college or university is because of how small your world is. I studied in Bangalore at St. Joseph Boys High School, and I'm a Josephite through and through. My school days were actually really good. I was a part of the student council and graduated as the best outgoing student from the science stream. But just because you earn a title somewhere doesn't mean it can be transferred to the outside world. The outside world owes you nothing. When I left home to head to Manipal, I realized how little I knew of the world. In my first couple of months there, I left everything and everyone I knew back home and was thrown into an ocean of new people. And I'm not gonna lie, it took me a long time to find the right kind of crowd. When I was thrown into this ocean, my main goal was not to swim, it was to just float. And that is what I did. Over time, experiences taught me whom to value as a friend and whom to value as an acquaintance. My judgment of people and their nature slowly improved. And I don't think that without college I'd have been able to learn this so quickly. College gave me the opportunity to make friends with classmates from Jaipur to Delhi, from Kotagiri all the way to Dubai. And the one thing that you realize is how similar yet dissimilar we all are. Looking back, it's kind of cool how wide your network can spread, and I'm not trying to come off as braggy. This is the extremely important thing about college. The friendships you make tend to travel all over the world, and no matter where you go, there is someone to reach out to if you ever want to meet somebody. As students, we are now part of a new generation of India, a generation whom the entire world is fighting to do business with. Every single person that you meet in life has their own little story, and the more stories you create and listen to, the more you'll actually mature and grow. College is undoubtedly one of the best ways to get that experience. Point number 3, accountability. If you couldn't tell from the videos I've already posted in this channel, I have a pretty strong work ethic that I've built over a very long period of time. But this doesn't mean that accountability is something that's come naturally to me. In fact, I was a massive idiot just a few years ago. During my school days, it was always a class teacher or some other authority figure that kept me accountable. Once school classes or tuitions got over, I'd head out to play football or tennis with my friends. And if I wasn't doing that, I'd just be sitting at home binge watching TV shows. And I'm not kidding about binge watching TV shows. I could finish seasons and seasons in one night and I'd end up passing out at 5 in the morning. Basically what I'm trying to say is without the authority figure or the fear of exams, I wouldn't do anything. This kind of improved slowly in the 11th and 12th standards, but by and large nothing significant happened here. This was until I shipped myself to college. When I reached my campus, I suddenly was in a situation where it's every single person for themselves. In a lot of ways, I was on my own. And trust me, nothing teaches you accountability faster than not having a clean pair of underwear the next morning when you have to go to class because you didn't do your laundry the night before. Yes, I was a pretty big idiot back then. But that's the thing, right? College stops you from being an idiot. If you're at home making silly decisions, there's generally always a family member or a close friend who looks out for you and stops you from going through with it. Whereas when you're on your own outside in the real world, there is nobody who's going to be there. Nobody's going to keep you accountable. So it's so nice and it's so important that you learn how to do this from a young age, early on in life. Without going to college, without leaving home and heading to college, I would say a lot of the growth that I had seen in the last few years of my life just would not have been possible. The fourth thing to consider before you make a decision about going to college is finances. It is said that after 4 years of college, the average student in the US has a net worth of minus $30,000. Can you imagine you go and get a 4-year degree and you come out of college with a net worth of minus $30,000? Fortunately, where I come from, the numbers are not as bad, but things are heading in the same way. Simply put, education in India is trying to compete with the US, and that's a trend that's going to keep continuing. If I'm going to look at my degree just from the point of view of return on investment, the numbers kind of scare me. I'm not going to lie. Fact of the matter is, I have invested 4 years of my life to get a degree that has no correlation with what I will be doing long term in my life. Everything that I know about the world of consulting and the corporate world has been learned on the job. 0% from college. This is where I'm left with almost a moral conundrum. How can I advise someone watching my videos to do what I'm doing when very clearly I've changed my mind several times when it suited me? This is where I try to be more authentic and less like other YouTube channels out there. And maybe there isn't a tangible ROI from doing a generic degree in philosophy or business administration. Maybe if you spend 3 years perfecting your craft and perfecting your skill set, you'll be so much better off than if you went to college. There is this fascinating statistic that I came across when I was researching this video. Apparently, only 3.8% of engineers who graduate from India are actually fit for their jobs. The rest of us, and myself included, we're all learning on the job. We're learning through practical experience. That's the thing about life in general. You think you'll be heading to college to learn about some new groundbreaking technology, and once you graduate, you'll be the hottest chick in the club and everyone will have a job offer for you. But that's not necessarily the truth. More often than not, you'll be taught the same old curriculum that thousands of students before you have learned, and some of the topics that you learn will barely even be relevant in today's world. Sure, there are some exceptions like doctors, lawyers, and maybe computer science engineers, but by and large, most of the experience and the learning that you get that you will actually use in your job will come from your job, not from your college degree. For most students who are determined to make a success of themselves, real life can teach you a lot faster and a lot cheaper than a 4-year degree. Before you take a decision based on what we've talked about in this video, I'd like to leave you with a few questions. What do you plan on doing once you decide or don't decide to go to college? Comfort is the death of all ambition, and now is the time for you to be pushing yourself out of the comfort zone whenever you can. Are you making a decision because it's the easy choice, or are you taking a call because you know it's the difficult choice? If the options are between studying and doing nothing, 10 out of 10 times I'd suggest that you go and get your degree. But if the options are between getting a degree and maybe getting practical real-world experience day in, day out for 3 years and upskilling yourself, then maybe there's something to consider. If you choose to take a gap year, make sure that you're working on a really difficult challenge that will continuously motivate you. And if you do that, I'm sure you will not regret your decision. Thanks for watching, dear friends. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel Filter Coffee Finance. And until we meet again, this is Filter Coffee Finance signing off.